in my opinion, hands down, the best way to become a better artist, a better creator, a better comic book artist and storyteller is to copy, copy, copy. Copy other artists and use reference from life and copy images from real photos and from just drawing what's around you. Copying is the best way to learn how to be a better artist, in my opinion. One thing that copying does that's really awesome is it helps you to get started. A lot of us struggle with just getting started in our day. Like one great way to get started when you're going to sit down and work on your comic is get a comic book that you're trying to learn something from, a certain artist, or get a photograph, go on Pinterest, or just look around you and just literally open up your sketchbook and start drawing. Observational drawing, no matter what it is. Look at the great Renaissance artists. Either way, whatever it is, sketch, sketch, sketch from what you see and try to translate what you see exactly or loosely. There's different ways to do it, but just copy, copy, copy. And this is how, really, whether people like to admit it or not, this is how all artists learn how to draw. There's other aspects to this. There's learning about shape, form, gesture, rendering, all that stuff. There's principles to perspective and composition. All these things are important as well. But when it comes down to it, it all comes down to the base ability to do observational drawing and copying. And it's a great way to get started every day. Get your butt in the chair. Once you get that arm moving and you're doing that observation, then you can get those creative juices flowing and you can get into a state where you are in a flow state and you're able to get the imagination going as well. So yes, that's I feel like sound advice. And so many artists that I hear, they talk about copying other artists, and that's how they started. Obviously, you want to get to a point where you have your own unique voice and your unique form of expression, but that comes with copying from so many different references. Copying from many, many different artists, but also just copying from life and seeing exactly how you draw. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And the thing is when you're drawing, there's a couple other kind of things, is when you're drawing and trying to create an illustration, you're creating a form of communication. You're communicating a lot of things. You're communicating emotion. You're communicating just information. You're communicating thoughts. You're communicating ideas. And you're basically translating those things that are in your soul, that you also see and observe, that are in your mind and in your heart. You're translating those into a visual form. And there are different ways to approach that, many different ways. And when you see other people who have practiced this for many, many years do the same thing, you might not have thought of this different way to render a tree. Like in comic book form, when you're using ink, if you're doing the traditional method of inking art, it's not easy to know how to draw a tree. You don't draw it the same way you would with pencil, or the same way you would with, you don't do it the same way you would do with painting, So translating it into ink automatically makes it an abstract thing. You're also getting to see all the different, gradients of style, I guess, or ways of rendering, from the abstract to cartoony to realistic. There's many different ways to kind of approach doing this and communicating something visually on a page. And in between all of those things are different ways of doing it. So it's really cool to see how other people have tried to draw a tree, for instance, once again. And then you'll come to a point where you'll realize, okay, this is the way that I like to do it. And it's a little bit like this and a little bit like that, but it's uniquely my own. So that's a really interesting thing to do and process that you'll go through. And you only get to that process through making your own comics, drawing from imagination. But that drawing from imagination and making your own thing comes from the resource of all the stuff you've done in your sketchbook and the reference and observational drawing you've done in the past. Once again, I think copying is one of, if not the best way to get better at art. And it's a great way to get started in your daily practice every day. It's so much easier to be like, oh, I don't know what to draw. We're hitting a blank page. Well, just copy something, anything, whatever you see around you to whatever art you see, just copy something, and that'll get the ball rolling. Once you get the ball rolling, that's half the battle already. So, you do that and you mix it in between observational drawing of life stuff and copying from artists, and you'll be well on your way. There's so many different things you can learn from this process. So hopefully that's helpful. Get to your work today, and I hope you have success. Thank you for watching. Check out my stuff on Instagram, Marsh Makes Comics, and donkeyjawprojects.com, where you can sign up for my email list and keep up to date with whatever I'm working on at the present. All right, talk to you later.